Okay. Ooh, that is a big glass for 2 p.m. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Hymn of the Goddess podcast. Today we have episode 8, and we are joined by Stine, who is a half of the goth pop duo Eliva Umbra. Hello.
Hi.
Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers to that. We are both having a glass of wine. This is one of the first Sip and Yap episode. Stine is a singer, songwriter, and a journalist based in Oslo,
Yes.
Norway, which is in Norway, in case anybody needs to know, and that is in Northern Europe, in case anybody needs to know. So I was going to say, you have recently started releasing music under a new band name, but you aren't particularly a newbie to the music industry. You've been doing this for a while. So how does that differ? Tell us about your recent endeavor.
So me and Sven, we were in a band called Monalia,
Mhm.
and it's 5 of us, and we released an album in 2019, did a tour, everything, and then pandemic hit. I took my chance to get pregnant, and naturally, because of the pandemic, everything got slowed down. We were making some music from home, but at the same time, I started writing stuff that first was intended to be used for the band, but we kind of felt it didn't fit. It had a completely different vibe. And I sent it to Sven, and he said, I think this is something else. I think we should take this seriously and do something else about it. And for a long time, it was just an idea that I became more and more obsessed with, and I started writing more and more songs about it. And it was last year, because I have to say, all of these songs, they came because it was from a place of need to write them.
Mm-hmm.
I was struggling at the time with anxiety and stuff, and I didn't know where's this coming from? What's this about? Because my life was objectively very good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the isolation, then you're isolated with a baby, and it was just I was too much inside my head, and I needed to take it out. And the minute we set the date for the first release, which was, we did it January last year, we set the date for 2nd of May, and it was all anxiety just disappeared. And it's so weird. I felt maybe this was what I was supposed to do the whole time. And because I was holding back because of fear or it's so much work or whatever it was, once I took that step, it's just a load off my shoulders, and I felt so much more content the last year.
It gave me chills because of how much I can relate to the feelings of, maybe I didn't have the same exact emotions that were burdening me, but I did experience self-sabotage, feelings of things missing in my life up until the point when I started releasing music, and it was took away a big chunk of those kind of attitudes. So yeah, I get it. And it's crazy, because if it's only been over a year since not you released it, but the idea started, and it's February 2026 now, and you've already released 5 singles?
Yeah, 5, and the 6th is coming in 4 weeks. Yeah.
So which date will that be? Because there's no guarantee that this will be aired.
Yeah, of course. That's Friday, 27th of March.
27th of March, so mark your calendar. And what will we be getting? Can you give us a little?
I haven't heard the last mix, so I don't know if he has made any big changes. But the of it is kind of in the same area, so to speak, as Bed of Shame, but where Bed of Shame was more about the relationship I was in, and we're talking now about my 20s, time I've wasted on, bad people, bad places, bad decisions, like all these things that you can regret, but I don't regret them. I see them as pieces that has made me into who I am today. And this is kind of what the next song is about. It's like, old me does not know me, she's what made me.
Okay, I love that.
So that's the chorus.
So it's kind of
at the
like,
same time,
yeah.
At the same time, it's about like how thinking about some of these situations I was in makes my skin crawl. So the bad things that happen in your life, like when you look back and you think like, wow, they're still valuable because you could have been a completely different person today if you didn't go through that.
For sure. And when it's wild when you sometimes start peeling back the layers of your life and like you look at all the things that you think were bad, but the trajectory that they put you on, and it's like, would I have ever wanted to change? No, because then I wouldn't be where I am now and who I am now. Yeah, exactly what you said.
Kind of like this thing you always see on social media, like I did it for the plot. And really, that's what it is. Like if you didn't do stupid shit in your youth, your life would be boring to sing about, maybe. I don't know.
And also, like, where would the soul growth be, right? Like, do we want to keep coming back? No. So we need to do a lot of stupid shit to learn more.
Yeah.
No, but what I mean by us coming back, like, I'm talking reincarnation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is this song is a part of an EP? Out of the songs you've already released, are any of these also going to be on the EP?
No, it's all new.
Ooh, okay. So we're getting everything new.
Yeah.
And a full EP of new stuff.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So we will have 2 more releases, which it will be like 8th of May, I think. And the last one, and the EP drops on 19th of June. We're not sure how many songs we will drop when the EP drops, because we're going to be more than one then. So it's either 2 or 3, but I'm thinking most likely 2.
EP will have around 5 songs.
Yeah. We're doing like Bed of Shame, Brand New Skin, then one in May and in June, but an extra one in June. So one that you haven't heard yet.
Okay, that's exciting. And I'm looking forward to seeing the summer promo.
Oh my God, I'm going to be at the beach again, stressing the fuck out. Last year.
I think it gets better year by year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I am trying to make sure, because I've been releasing the last 2 years, trying to do it on a monthly basis, more or less. And every time I had summer releases, but this year I'm dropping an album, and then I'm like, summer is me time. I don't know social media, but
I don't know. I'm a little bit obsessive. If I start it, like I can't stop it, then I feel like the world will go under. I don't know. I'm gonna keep going. I might not post 2 to 3 times a day during the summer holiday, but if I at least put one thing out, which is very easy, you can just smash up a carousel post or something from old photos. Yeah.
No, you know what? I just realized I said I don't know social media. That's a fucking lie. I am going to be on social media in the summer, I'm sure. Okay.
But it's hard to balance it when the social media game, I mean, because this can be kind of all consuming. It's something that you have to think about every day. And what I noticed that last year when I was on holiday with my family, and I have a kid and a boyfriend, is that at one point he was like, I cannot deal with everything being content now. Like that you're all the time thinking content. Take a photo here, make a video there. Like I'm like writing hooks and, I get a bit obsessive. And this was annoying to them. And I have to kind of step back and say, okay, I need to lift my head up from the phone.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard because I'm experiencing it, and I feel a lot of other musicians are, where like you feel the moment you stop posting, you stop existing. And it's like, if I put my phone down, am I invisible, right? So I think it's a learning curve and a way to find balance between being present and being with your family and then having content for everything. And it's something I myself am yet to figure out. Have a plan for this summer and maybe like batch film stuff before, or
This is
even
yeah.
when you're on holiday, like batch film for one day and that's it.
Yeah, and I will do it like prior to the holiday as well. I did that, for example, now before Christmas. I had so much that I just had to do a few things and I didn't have to stress about it. Sorry about the noise. Of course, they had to start now. As well, like a few weeks ago, I had the flu and I was like completely knocked out on the sofa, but I had so much content as drafts. I didn't have to do anything. I just pressed post. So,
No, I mean, I admire you with that, like the planning, the restraint to not have to immediately post everything you have. And I get too excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is fire. I have to post it
yeah.
immediately.
I definitely, I know that feeling. I have that feeling too. I managed to, because something about the feeling of knowing, hey, I have 15 drafts. I don't need to stress. So I can like next week, I can do another batch. It gives you some peace of mind and you don't walk around all the time like stressed about content.
It gives you, one could say, some peace in chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the other day I scheduled a post and that was so freeing. I was like, oh wow, so I just don't have to do anything. I don't have to be like present when it actually goes out to the world and it will still be posted and my hands are free. So
yeah, I don't usually schedule on TikTok and Instagram. There, I keep them in drafts, and then I just go and I post. But on YouTube Shorts, there I always schedule.
Is there a reason why?
I just feel like there's easier to schedule.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
It's not to do with like algorithm or you wanting to be there when it drops or anything like that?
I've tried scheduling. I don't remember what, and it just tanked so bad that I felt like I'm never doing that again. So I might be superstitious, but I feel like it affects how the post does.
Okay, yeah, no, I've never done that on TikTok,
Yeah,
but
because
yeah.
I've heard as well on TikTok that they want you to engage before and after you post. So I don't know if that's a factor.
Yeah, true, it could well be, but TikTok works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
One can never know. Yeah,
People seem to have figured it out or claim to have figured it out, but they all have different advice. So who knows?
I feel like all the people that are going viral right now are the people talking about how to go viral.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're telling people, make sure to follow this post so the algorithm knows you want to grow. And I'm like,
It's all the buttons from the bottom up.
yeah,
That's
this is a
nothing
pyramid
for
scheme.
anybody but themselves.
Yeah. Like I've seen some comments under posts about growing on social media saying soon all the content on social media is going to be how to grow on social media. I think best we can do is have fun. Like I posted a thread of my dog yesterday, and this is so far, I think it's got 20,000 likes and like 500,000 views, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, great. I did get some followers, but are these people here for my dog? Like every time I post something that has nothing to do with my music, it's like, woo! So there are ways that people can get your eyes on you. You just have to figure out how to translate whatever it is that they want and put it into your music.
Maybe we need to start writing songs about dogs and just making dog music videos. And
I think, yes. Yeah. I think, music for dogs, about dogs, or I don't know. I need to teach my dog how to lip sync.
Yeah. Or twerk. A twerking dog, that's viral potential.
Yeah, you know what? I have some belly dance thingies, belts coming. And I don't know if you've seen those videos where you put them on a dog and then they start shaking and then it looks like they're belly dancing. Yes, okay, that's content for famine coming in hot. But yeah, back to music. You are from Norway, you're Norwegian, and you mentioned in one of your songs that you were made for suburbia. So are you from suburbia?
Not really. Because I'm from a smaller town up north.
Mhm.
So I grew up in the city, and it's not like center of the city.
Mhm.
So in the grand scheme of things, you could say that it's suburbia, but it's really just like takes me 15 minutes to walk to the center. So I
Alright.
won't say it's suburbia. But yeah, that line is from my 20s, when I
Mhm.
was with a guy who I desperately wanted to move to the city, to the capital.
Mhm.
He wanted to stay out there, which was suburbia, and he wanted to even move further out. And I just felt like I was choking, like I was fighting with him. I was looking at real estate ads for apartments in the city,
Mm.
and he was looking at big houses that you could build way out on the countryside where you need two cars and no social life. But I think that was kind of perfect for him. He didn't want me to have
Mm.
much of a social life. Yeah, that's where that comes from. It was just like I felt I was sitting at home feeling like I'm not supposed to be here, but too
Mm.
scared to do anything about it because that would mean that I would be alone in the world. My entire family is a 2-hour plane ride from here, and I had no one else. And I kind of felt like I relied on him. But in the end, I moved out. I always say I moved out with like 4 towels and a dresser because that's all I took from what was ours. The rest of the stuff that I had was all stuff that you can make something with. So it's like a guitar, it was a keyboard, it was a sewing machine.
Uh-huh.
I only had stuff. The only things that I owned were stuff that I could create something with, and the rest was
Oh,
his.
right. Okay. I love that. That just like says a lot about you as a person and a creative. Like the things you own were things you can make with. And so is that what you took with you?
Yeah,
Okay. And 4 towels. I mean, that
yeah,
is grown people shit. Like, who has four
yeah.
towels?
I
Um,
started from scratch. Yeah, yeah.
I relate. I moved at 20 to London by myself, and away from my family, but I was kind of looking forward to that. I was a point in my life where I was like, okay, I've been with this part of the family and that part of the family for a while, and now I want to be with the ability to like reinvent myself in whatever way I want to, with no
Mm.
like outside influence, which I guess we both were able to do moving to the city because that's like one of the best places you can blend in and not stand
And
out.
there's something about that because it's hard to change in front of people that have known you for a long time.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean changing like I'm becoming someone else fake, but becoming who you've always wanted to be or who you are truly inside, but you've just been
Mhm.
like stopped by your own fears.
There's like the people's preconceptions that they project
Yeah,
onto you, and like the moment you try something else, they're like, "Oh, but since when are you this person?" And you're like, "Oh, you're
yeah,
right. Maybe I'm not, but no, you are."
right.
And yeah, yes, I think it's important for everyone to have that moment of like stepping away from everything you know
Mm.
and everyone you know, but I guess it's not really realistic for everybody, and maybe not everybody wants that.
Yeah.
But like, would you say, going from the north, going to the capital, going to the city, has that had an influence on your music making?
I guess so, because whatever has had an influence on you as a person will have an influence on whatever you make or create. But yet, the main reason why I moved like 2 days after I turned 20.
All right.
And I felt like there's needed more. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was actually dreaming of New York, but I just felt like, oh, that's so unrealistic. And so I just went here instead. But uh, I felt like I needed more influences, more inputs, more opportunities. And also because I knew that I wanted to do something with music, and I felt like I couldn't there, even though there
Mm-hmm.
was a pretty good music scene in that city. But I already knew some of them. I felt limited by
Mm.
people's perception of me. So yeah, moving definitely gave me a lot more experiences than I would have had if I'd stayed. So it has definitely impacted my writing, for example.
Do you think So I would say like the place you're from does peek through your music because it has that Nordic sound, right? To me, at least, that's how I interpret it. Um, so I wonder, like, is this something that is common in all of Norway, or is it maybe like more prevalent in the city? I don't know. In my mind, I'm thinking when you're like in smaller towns, suburbia, it's just going to be folk. And then if you move to the city, it becomes more, not refined, but like broad, but also slightly different.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch my tongue here.
Sorry.
But yeah, there is a certain hillbilly kind of vibe going on in a lot of the, not even suburbia, but more like the districts. Yeah. So, and a lot of music where they sing in Norwegian. This goes very well.
Okay.
And then you have like the leap to rock music or metal. Metal is pretty big in Norway, and the mainstream pop. And I feel like us who end up kind of in between, or like these tiny genres in between, there's not a lot of room for that in Norway. And I feel like this is not even where our main audience is, I think. Other places in the world.
Yeah, no, I mean, I see that, but I also think like it makes sense for where you're from, or like if I'm thinking of videos, of not videos, like series of movies I've seen based in Scandinavian countries, like I can definitely hear your song being played in there, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like what is being shown to others as like the sound of the area versus what actually is. But now you're mentioning meta, I'm like, okay, yes, that does sound super
Yeah.
popular
But
in
yeah,
Norway.
this is the thing because we're very inspired by Nordic noir. Like I'm a big crime junkie.
Me
I
too.
love crime series, but mainly like either Nordic noirs or British crime. These are my favorites. Like
Okay.
and
What's your all-time favorite show? Like crime.
oh no, there's so many of them, and I watched so many I can't even remember the name of them. But I remember off the top of my head one very good Danish called Kastanjeman. It's like the chestnut man. So
Okay. Oh,
eerie,
I've seen
so
it.
big. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So that's the kind. I mean, I'm so my favorite one is Bones, which it's not. It's just crime. Bones.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Like I watched it when I was a teen, and I just have a soft spot for it. But it's completely different from what you're referencing here. The like Nordic noir and just
Yeah,
American.
it's the very bleak, the scenes, things take time. You know, there it can go you get a whole season trying to figure out who the murderer is.
Yeah,
I
and
like the
everything has like
suspense.
saturation of 15.
Yeah, yeah. I often use that myself, like down with the
Yeah. And it works, like it's the perfect vibe. I know you mentioned that this is where you're at with music now, but I know it's not where you were with music always. Like the early stage
yeah.
of your music career was more dance and kind of like house.
It's strange. I because song I ever recorded was a song I wrote when I was 18 and I had written it playing the guitar. And I recorded it, I think even with me playing the guitar, which I can imagine today because I haven't played in such a long time that I've totally forgotten all my skills. So then it was more like singer-songwriter type of stuff. But I met a friend and became like BFFs. And we started writing music together and recording it. And it started first like more pop. And I maybe a little bit because of the producer we were using at the time, it turned out more and more dance. And then we went into the era where Rihanna made this We Found Love in a Hopeless Place, and these very dancey, and Lady Gaga came, and this influenced us at the time. So yeah, it was completely different than
Yeah,
where now. Yeah, but I
it's and I
think
Yeah.
That's a reflection of age as well. Because when you're in your 20s, you're a lot more, not everyone, some people are niche their whole life, but it's more common to be very into the pop scene when you're younger. And then you kind of go into a narrower path as you age.
I also feel like it was a different time in terms of what was available. Like right now, you can go online on BeatStars and YouTube, wherever, and you can find like so much niche and type of beats, right? You can, like think of something absolutely ridiculous, and there's probably going to be a producer to match that. But I don't think things were the same during those days. Like you were maybe a bit limited to who you could meet and people in the rooms with. And then their idea would influence your output.
Yeah.
But like because I know that was quite a while back, and you had some level of success with that project.
No, I wouldn't call it. No, I wouldn't call it success. We did get offered a deal from Universal. That's the closest thing we got to success.
Well, I mean, success like that. I would class being noticed by a big record label and offered a deal a level of success.
Yeah,
Whether you take it or not, still the offer was there.
So we sent them a demo, like I think February 2012. And then we were like, the next day we were contacted, like, we want to meet you. And we had a few meetings, like with the A&R and then with the head of Universal, and they gave us a contract, and there was a lot of back and forth, like they had to buy out the producer's rights. We got some legal, or some managers that I knew that looked over the contract and said, here, they're trying to screw you over. And we went to New York for like 2 weeks, met with some stylists thing to get advice. And it was like summer party. We were introduced to like, this guy can do your music video. Maybe we can use this guy as a rapper, blah, blah, blah. In the end, after that summer, we just got a from them saying like, we're not so sure anymore. And the funny thing is that in the beginning, what they said to us was, oh, it's so refreshing that you haven't been on any reality show. But in the end, they said to us, you haven't been on any reality show. Nobody knows you. So I don't know. They were to take the chance, basically.
Okay.
But I don't think about it so much, because when I back, I feel like, but this wasn't my sound. It wasn't meant to be for me.
Yeah, it's, I think, one of those things where it's like exactly what we were talking about. You look back on the things that, maybe in the moment didn't feel like the best thing, and you reflect and it's like, okay, no, actually it needed to happen to put me on this path. I would take this as confirmation that, okay, I am on the right path when it comes to pursuing music, because obviously someone had noticed me and thought, they spent money on you. They flew you into New York, got you into meetings, etc. So obviously you were worth that investment, but maybe it wasn't the right time and the universe was shifting you in a direction you needed to be to discover your own sound. And sometimes I also wonder if not becoming famous at an early age was a level of protection, especially seeing things that are coming out now.
Oh, yeah.
So, it does feel like, okay, maybe what we see, like how we interpret celebrities' lives and think that it's amazing. And then you pick up Britney's book and you're like, okay, maybe it wasn't. I don't know if you've read it.
No, I haven't.
I recommend it, like, just to understand the reality of, or maybe not, like, it's her reality. I'm sure it's not the reality for every pop star and celebrity out there, but how we would imagine what her life was versus what it actually was through her eyes is interesting to see.
Yeah. Because I grew up, let's just say it, I was around the same age as Britney. And she blew up And I felt immediately, oh my God, I don't have time for anything. I'm already too old because she grew up then. Like, I don't know what she was, 16, 17?
16, yeah. I mean, I remember when I saw Britney, like that was awakening to music, and that's what made me go into dancing. And like, I was obsessed with learning the cartwheel, since Sing Baby One More Time. But I remember as a kid, I had this ambition that I wanted to be the youngest, biggest star ever. Right? I don't know why I had this like weird obsession with that, but like, obviously that didn't happen, and I didn't really take steps for that. Well, I tried for a few things, but that's beside the point. But yeah, it was like I was only 6, 7 years old, and I was already thinking I need to be as young as possible and make it,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
But talk about putting like limitations on your goals. That's
Yeah.
like, time is passing. You can't do anything to stop it, which is another subject that freaks me out. But if you have like, oh, I need to do this by that age, this is really inducing.
For sure. And you know what? I was thinking about this today because, as you know, I'm in the process of writing an article about aging for women in the music industry, or how we perceive age. And I thought it's interesting because a woman is rewarded for her youth, and like even when you read period literature, it's like I'm 27 years old, I'm a burden to my parents, right? Because I think it's 27. And then when you think about men, you have Zoran Mamdani, who's the mayor of New York City, and he's in his 30s, and people are talking about how he's too young to hold that position, right?
Yeah.
So it's like men get rewarded for their age because apparently maturity comes with age for them.
It's because, or this is my take on it. Men are slow developers, first of all. This is not an opinion, this is a fact. But men, as they grow older, grow wiser. And this is rewarded because, this is what matters to them. They are not objectified in the same way as we are. For us, it doesn't matter so much if we are smart or clever or experienced, as it matters how we look. But here's another thing. As a woman ages and her estrogen levels go down, which is the hormone that makes you give a fuck, you start to behave more like a man. And this is not nice for the man. So
Yeah.
it's like the internal story about a menopausal woman who starts to treat people like, hey, do it yourself. I'm not your mother. And this is not a quality that is liked by society.
No, I mean, I am noticing that about myself, and I'm only in my 30s, and I'm like realizing as the years go by, I really give a fuck less, especially about men's opinion, and like, just appealing to them and trying to cater to them in any ways. So yeah, that's what the patriarchy doesn't like from aging women. They don't want us to not give a fuck about them.
Yeah.
But speaking of, we were of being offered a deal with music and different kind of sound that you were making. But I also wanted to ask about the competition that you won.
What was this?
Beyonce.
What?
Beyonce.
I have, of course, I give credit there to my friend who I was doing music with at the time, because it was really her that won it. The thing was, there was a like New York taxi around the city. You could jump in and you had to sing. It was a specific Beyonce song that you had to perform in the back seat of the car. And we were waiting, and because we had booked appointments to participate, and this taxi never came, and I was supposed to be the driver for my ex's family members that night, and he didn't give any shit about what I had planned. So I had to just leave at the end and pick them up. So when the taxi finally came, she had to jump in alone, which I think was the lucky thing, because she was the only one who did it alone.
Oh, right. Okay.
So she won. I'm sure she sang well as well.
Yeah.
But I think that was kind of the tipping point.
Mhm.
So we won a trip to New York.
Mhm. So wait, this happened in Norway,
This
the
happened in Norway.
taxi.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think this competition, it happened in maybe not with the taxi, I don't know how they did it, but
Mhm.
throughout the world in many countries, because we
Mhm.
were hundreds of people who had won these tickets, and we were shipped to New York like a week before Christmas or something. I think Beyonce dropped her album, the Beyonce album, the one that she did
Mhm.
without any notice, like nobody
Yeah,
knew it
the
was coming.
surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, and it's one of her best albums, if you ask me.
Mm.
And she
Agree.
dropped it like a day or two before we traveled to New York, and we were just listening to this album all the time. But we got to like go to her recording studio, spoke with her,
Mhm.
the people in her team. Like we saw her entire mood board for the album. Got to sing in the studio. We went to her dance studio. Her choreographer taught us a few of the routines to some of the songs. Extremely hard. I have so much respect for her. And you know, we went to restaurants. Like JC had some bar restaurant where we went, and then we were told that we're going to see her concert in the Brooklyn Bowl. And the same day as the concert, then they told us for the first time that we
Mhm.
were going to have a meet and greet. So we were all like sitting downstairs in the basement, waiting for her to come in. And this is the only time in my life that I've ever gasped, like been felt starstruck. But because when she came in, first of all, she was just so insanely beautiful. You can't even
Mhm.
imagine.
I mean, I heard that from someone else. Like someone said there was this interview with he's like a celebrity makeup artist, and he was like, who is the one person that was like, you were shocked how beautiful they are in real life? And he was like, Beyonce. And you're
Yeah,
saying the same thing. So yeah,
yeah,
sorry, go on.
yeah. So I gasped when I saw her. The thing I did was I said, "Is she supposed to be big?" Because she wasn't at all. Uh, I mean, she was skinny. You could put like an arm between her legs. But to her defense, I think this was one of her skinniest periods because she's been touring the whole year.
Mhm.
But I was just like shocked and not so tall. And I have always felt very tiny my entire life, but I felt
Mhm.
huge next to her. It's so weird. She was
I,
very
I I
little.
cannot quite imagine that, but yeah.
And also, she seemed very timid. So strange because the persona you see on stage is so confident and takes up so much space. And she was, I felt like she was a scared sparrow. And she
Mm.
just had this, she was very polite, very sweet, but she genuinely seemed scared to meet so
Mm.
many people. So yeah, there was a lot of misconceptions you have that are just like broken down once you meet a celebrity.
Yeah, I feel like that's, and especially, that she has created the persona of Sasha Fierce precisely so she could step into being someone more fierce and, the kind of
Yeah.
persona you see. But like, how was it? How did this experience of seeing what, one of the biggest stars in the world, like the inner sort of world of creating their music, do you feel like that has maybe like shown you how things are
Definitely.
done with the big game in the big leagues?
You kind of you know this saying that you have as many hours in the day as Beyonce,
Mhm.
and people say this, and you don't really think about it. But when I saw like all the work, like first of all, just the amount of work you need to put in to learn a routine while
Mhm.
singing and
Mm.
sing good, but also like the behind the album, because I always had this idea that she wasn't that involved, that yeah, it's a lot of songwriters and she just says yay or nay,
Mm.
but it wasn't like that. Suddenly you see how much of a role the vibe of this album, the themes of and into like the smallest detail with these, I mean, these collages, they were covering the whole entire wall, and it was layers of, it was like being, it was art, you know. It's inspirational because that's when I knew you don't just write a song and just think like, hey, okay, well, let's smack this into an album. it was a thought process from like songs are made. You think about what's the vibe, what's the colors, what's the persona, what's the story.
Okay, yeah. I see that like in how you approach things now.
Yeah, systematic and detailed. Yeah.
Yes, like there is a lot of thought and a lot of planning that goes into it. And, I really admire that as someone who just feels super chaotic at the moment. But then again, I'm trying to give myself grace because I'm still figuring shit out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, do you think it was that experience given you this, or were you naturally that kind of person already?
I've always been very fond of lists, planning, like detailed planning. There, it's like it's weird. It's weird that I don't have Virgo placements because
Yeah.
this is a very Virgo thing. But
I mean, Scorpios are actually more like Virgos than you think. Like they used to be one sign. So your Scorpio rising is
yeah,
probably, and also, yeah, but yeah, I would have to, I will have to have a look at the entire chart. But go on, sorry.
yeah, yeah. So I love the planning part. I love the brainstorming part. This like
Mhm.
when it's to like hooks for content. I started to really enjoy it, especially when I can do it analog, like with a notebook and
Yeah,
a pen and a nice pen and a nice notebook and write it
of
very
course.
aesthetically pleasing. This I love. And then I love the process because I feel like I'm creating something from scratch, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
I do have a book with
Mhm.
like this is from last year before we started releasing a book where I have bought magazines, I have cut out things, I have glued it in and
Oh,
like written
wow.
notes for myself. So yeah, I've done exactly the same thing. I was definitely inspired by that trip. Yeah.
Okay, so there was actually so much forethought and foresight before releasing. You had
Yeah.
already come in with the plan, which obviously shows as well, because I remember like from first time seeing you pop up on my threads and the content, I was like, okay, this person, like they got their shit together, they know what they're doing, they have a plan. Versus, yeah, some other things we sometimes see on social media. But I also have to mention, and I don't have to, but I want to. You studied journalism, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like that probably, oh, not probably, I'm sure that has like helped you both in the songwriting process and the hook writing process.
Yeah. It definitely helps me when it comes to writing press releases. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so that's a good thing. And the thing is, that's fine. He and his wife, they
Mhm.
have so he can
Oh,
do
right.
like yeah, so he has certain insights of things that
Mhm.
are relevant to marketing and stuff as well. So together we're like an agency together.
Yeah, okay, that is like a lot of powerful brain power. I said power in the same sentence, blame it on the wine. Okay, I love that. So it is inevitable that stardom is going to knock on your door very soon. But like, what are your, do you have a clear sort of goal and path that you see you going yourself with? Because somebody asked me the other day, what are your music goals? And then I was like, oh, what are my music goals? Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
hard to see beyond the immediate, but then also, like, you want to dream big. Obviously, we're going to be like, yeah, I want a Grammy and I want to perform at the Super Bowl or whatever. But from where you are now until then, like, what is the next milestone and stepping stone? And yeah, what are your goals?
it's hard because oftentimes these goals are just like some kind of imaginary fantasy that if you don't take it down on paper, it just becomes like an idea of yeah, like fame, fortune, whatever. But I think 20-year-old me would probably say, ah, Britney fame, but I'm not
Mm,
there anymore. This is not, it's not even what I want. I don't think I would like that type of fame where you can't even walk in peace on the street.
mhm.
But I would like to have regular radio play, for example, like in Norway to be listed on radio, to just be a part of the music industry here or abroad, of course, but also to be able to make money, to make a living off the music, because it gives me so much joy that it's not something I see that I want to give up, but it can also be a very expensive hobby, especially if you start playing shows. I want to just be able to play shows and write music and not like worry about, oh, I need to take an extra job, because you won't even have time to do the music thing then. So yeah, I want to be able to live comfortably whilst doing what I love. I think this is the main goal.
Yeah, I really resonate with that, and it's pretty much the same for me. I'm like, I want my music first and foremost to pay for itself, because it hasn't up to this point. You know, because I'm in a boat of, yeah, let's just say I want my music to be paying for itself and not me paying for the music. And then to actually be able to make a living off of it, a comfortable one, like you mentioned. But you said you would want to, you know, perform live shows. What is your like pinnacle dream? Like, what is the one show you've always like, I really want to do this?
So I've never been a fan of the big arena shows. It feels impersonal. I don't enjoy so much going to them, because you end up just looking at a screen, and I feel like I could have watched this from my sofa at home. Instead, I enjoy the like medium size venues where you get feeling like, oh, it's a crowd here, you know, it's a crowd here, but you're close enough to see the face of the performer. And this is the type of venue I would love to play. And there's a couple of them here in Oslo.
What are they called?
It's like Aurora played there, and I was there in, I think, 2019, and I saw Aurora play at Sentrum Scene. And this is one of the best experiences I've ever had, because I've seen her play as well at a festival outside. It was huge, and it wasn't the same experience, because it's bigger. You kind of lose contact with her, but there at this small venue, I was like, and I don't mean like Beatles girl crying. I mean like her just moved me so much. It was I felt like this is what I want, to have that, where you get that connection with the audience.
It was called, again, what's the name of the venue?
Sentrum Scene.
Sentrum Scene. If you're hearing this, you go right here. Okay, that is interesting perspective, because, you know, it's probably weird to say as a musician, but I don't like loud music. So for me, going to a big concert, I don't enjoy it so much, because it's many people and it's so loud, and you know, my ears hurt and I get overstimulated, and like it's a lot. And I'm thinking, okay, if I am on the stage, that's going to be a lot as well. But one of the best concerts, well, one of the only, but also best concerts I've been to, was an Evanescence concert in London. And they played a smaller venue, and they played with an orchestra. And it was absolutely amazing. Like Amy's vocals, impeccable. And it felt more intimate, because we were in a closed space. It wasn't outdoors. Yeah. So I definitely get what you're saying with like, you get the better connection, and you can actually, you know, see the person and then hear them at a respectable decibel level.
Yeah.
Would you ever move for music to New York or Los Angeles?
I think I would say no. Couple of reasons. First of all, I love New York. I would have died to live there when I was younger. Now, America, not so appealing.
Fair.
In general.
Yeah.
Maybe one day it would be again, but yeah, I would love to visit New York often, but I want to live there. The second thing is that I have a family that has a say, but also like my boyfriend has a job, my kids. my family. I mean, we already have to travel so much just to see family and my boyfriend's family because they also live far away. So I don't need to create more problems for myself in that area. I would rather go on tours, and it would be great if I could bring my family, for example, when they want it. But then you need the money. But yeah, no, I don't think I would move. I think I could manage well from here, and yeah.
And like, as you are a mother and an artist, like, how would you envision a tour going on with, having a kid and going on tour?
This has probably been one of the hardest things to deal with emotionally. Like, I remember a few times with the other band, we had to travel for gigs, and my kid was smaller. He was like almost 2. So at that time, he's a lot more connected to me, and they don't understand. They think that when the parent goes, they don't understand the concept of time and that, are you ever coming back? Okay. So they just think that they're abandoned. This breaks my heart. So I was away for like 24 hours at the most, and it was okay. But it's still like the worst nights I've ever had. I can't sleep. I just toss and turn and I wake. Yeah, it's very weird. Because before I loved like sleeping in a hotel and being by myself. Yeah. But of course, I think it's going to be easier the older he gets. He's 5. He understands more. I can explain things to him. I was recently away from him for like 4 days because I had to go to my grandfather's funeral. And it went okay because I can call him. He understands I'm coming back. So I think this will get easier and easier. I think it will just be like my heart will break a little bit.
Could you take him with you?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Until school
started. I once did. We had we were in a town, and everyone in the band, we brought our whole families. Made like a weekend out of it, and it was very, very nice because one of the guys in the band, he lived there, had a huge house and a garden, and so we stayed there at that house. So my boyfriend and went with me, and then he was like, I don't know, 2.5, 3, and he loved the company and everything. But when we had a sound check in the like town square, my kid was desperately trying to get on stage. He wanted as well to he wanted to go up there and sing and dance, and then suddenly the music is like turned up really, really loud, and you see it's my kid has found the volume button on the speaker, and he's like dancing in front of the speaker. So yeah, it's you need a nanny if you're gonna do that.
Well, he just wants to be a star. Do you hope that he's going to be like into music?
I don't know. If it gives him great joy, yes.
Yeah.
But, to be honest, I would love for him to just be something very normal, an electrician, something that you will always need in society, no matter what happens. If there's a pandemic or if there's war, you're going to need these like professions. Because now I feel like with AI taking over so many things, I think these jobs will be very important in the future, because any other job is like at risk. But he's a talker, so I have a feeling he's going to be like communications director for the politician or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, he loves to be on stage, so I can see that.
Yeah.
No, I often wonder, like, if I had kids, it would be nice, because I didn't grow up in a musical home. Like, my dad was an artist, but more of like painting kind of stuff. And my mom was a dancer, but she cannot sing to save her life. Sorry, Mom. So like, we had music, but it wasn't a thing. And I don't think like my mom could really understand my need for wanting to sing and explore myself musically. So I did go, like, I started dancing as a kid, because I think that's what she could relate to. So I kind of like wish that if I have a kid and they enjoy music, I can like get them to learn how to play an instrument at an early age, and like guide them through that. And like, if they want to try it, they can, and if they don't, then that's fair enough. Like, but I don't have kids, so it's easier said as a
I think because what I feel that it doesn't matter so much to me what he wants to do. I just hope that he will have a passion, because for me, I think the worst as a bystander would be to see your kid not care about anything. Like, I don't care, I don't care. Like this is my worst nightmare. So don't care what you want to do, just find something you like and go for it. Because this like passiveness and just wasting your life, basically, this really grinds my gears.
It's safe to say if he ever has a passion, you're going to be a mom that supports it.
Yeah.
I mean, I also just wanted to say that it's always easier to hypothesize about children you don't have and what you're going to be like than when you're actually a mother. So,
Yeah.
you know, when I become one, we can have this conversation again.
Yeah.
But at this point, I will save any further input for myself. Yes, also, so we're completely out of topics right now, but I wanted to circle back to the music. Speaking of live shows, have you got anything planned that you can reveal with us?
Yeah. This is kind of a difficult question to answer because we were asked to play at this festival now at the end of April.
Amazing.
Plan was that we're going to do it. Now we're a little bit unsure because they're going a little bit back and forth on whether they have enough funding or not. And there's something about because the stage is outside. I've played there before. We know that outside stages is pretty good when it comes to sound. It's easier. But if it's moved inside to a very, very tiny stage, we're not sure, because this is very tricky sound-wise. If you have massive music and very soft vocals, this can be tricky in small venues. And seeing how this would be a show, it feels dangerous to do something risky as the first show. So we do not know yet if this is going to happen or not. But what will definitely happen is that we're going to plan for like a headline show sometime in the autumn.
All right. Where is it going to be?
The goal is quality over quantity, which means that we want this concert to be sold out and very good. So
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah. And by that time, we will have a lot of material, so we can actually fill a whole concert. Now we have like 5 songs. This is a support gig, and we're open to that too. We have had someone ask us if we wanted to do like a split gig or a support gig, which we might do, because there's not like a specific date that we've been asked about. Just like, do we want to? And we definitely need to start, because this it takes the music from just being a studio band to being a real experience.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like it's easy to get ourselves caught up with on the internet versus actually going out. I mean, I'm sure, you know, not the same experience for you, seeing as you have toured before and done live shows, etc. But I feel like for a lot of people, it can feel like we're confined to the internet without remembering that there's a whole other outside world out there that we can connect with and build fans that way as well.
Yeah, and it's very valuable as well, because after the show, you just walk into the crowd and you can gain new fans. Like if they enjoy the concert and you go there and talk to them after, you get followers, you get fans, you know, you kind of build a community a lot easier that way when you can speak to people face to face, and you get like raw, honest opinions about what was good, what was not so good, for example, about the show, which is also very valuable because it makes you able to tweak for the next time.
Yeah, and like, you know, if someone's there physically, they cannot just scroll you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the shows you're planning, I'm guessing they will all be in Oslo?
Yeah, so the one that we're not sure about, this is like in the next town over. But yeah, the other one, the main one, is going to be in Oslo.
And would you ever do European tour?
Yes, we would love to.
Okay. Well, I hope Greece is on there.
Yeah.
It will be with our festival. which will
And
happen.
yeah, we're thinking like, oh, we would love to go to Scotland because this is like the same dark, moody, foggy place that we come from.
Mhm.
They will relate to us.
I just had a vision, you performing in a Scottish castle.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
In like a very dramatic dress. Imagine the acoustics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And Scotland has a lot of good architecture.
Yeah, you
It
can
would
buy
be
it
so
now.
content. Like if I lived in Scotland, I would make so much content.
Maybe you need to go on a content trip.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
here it's basically these like very modern, gray, glassy buildings, and it's not my vibe.
Okay. Do you guys
There's
have
no
like
romance over it. It's just industrial and cold, and I don't
no
know.
like Old Town or stuff like that?
No, of course there are some nice buildings, but they don't make them like they used to.
No, they don't.
Yeah. If you go down to the center, there's a lot of very nice buildings, like brick buildings with these like kind of like Paris.
Yeah, okay. I haven't been, but
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Like the typical pictures you see from Paris, like these brick buildings with like these ornaments
Okay,
around.
yes.
So there are a lot of such things, but exactly where I live, it's very like, oh, let's fit as many people as possible into one area, because here we have a railway station, a tram stop, and it's just like practicality, not very vibesy.
No, I get that because like my town is not the most aesthetic either. Like you'd think if you live in Greece, you would have like, the picturesque places, but not everything is an island. And also, yes, I have the beach and stuff, but then I don't make music that belongs on the beach that much. So that's the disconnect. Like,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't give up being by the beach. So there's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think
I
maybe
think,
we just need to, each of us do a content holiday
yeah.
and then be like, you can put it in your expenses and your tax returns.
It's definitely not a bad idea. But the thing is that you could like realistically, you could do that. But if you also plan that, hey, I'm gonna try to book a gig at the same time, like so you
Yeah,
get more out of it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if any booking agent in Scotland is watching this by any chance, please reach out to Eliva Umbra. They would love to do a show there and then they can combine it with their content holiday. No, but that would be epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other dream destinations you have like that?
This might sound crazy, but I've never been to London.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. And I've never been to Paris.
Neither have I, but yeah, London. Yeah, I've been there.
I would like to play in all these cities, like in Amsterdam, Berlin. I've been to Berlin though, but I think this would fit as well. I know that there's a pretty just music scene.
You said that you were back and forth whether to do EP or an album, and why you've decided on an EP. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about that?
Yeah, because it's this like, are we just gonna be like a singles band? You don't want that. You want something complete so that you can, for example, press up vinyl and as merch when you have shows or sell on Bandcamp. But also it's something about like making something coherent. And we had like a moment where we're like, yeah, let's do an album. Like we're doing it. And then we got some advice
Mm-hmm.
from the manager. And he said, remember, you only have one debut album. Like after that, you can have as many as you want, but you only have one
Yeah.
debut. And he said, if I were you, I would wait until I had more eyes. And when he said it, it totally makes sense to me. I feel like if we're pushed now for an album, when at the time when he said this, we had like 134 monthly listeners on Spotify. We were going to push for it just because we wanted, it would be more of stroking our own egos. So we went back on that idea and just decided, let's do an EP instead. We can even do 2 EPs during the year if we want. And, by releasing more music, because four singles and you think you're going to get like attention from an album, and when you drop a debut album, you can possibly get some media, if you're lucky, if they have time, if there's not like the other huge artists dropping at the same time. But nobody knows who you are, nobody heard of you. When you drop that album, it will be harder. So we just thought like, okay, we can't act like we're out of time. We will just like make an EP and hope that the regular releases will slowly build a bigger audience. That when we drop an album, there will be interest, and you don't have to fight to get people to stream your 8-9 songs. And it just made sense when he said it. I almost felt like, why haven't I thought about that? Because it made.
I mean,
I think it comes from the old, like, this is what you're supposed to do. You drop and then you make an album. This is what you do. This is what I've always thought. And I think because the landscape has changed a little bit with streaming and the have to stay relevant all the time, and everybody's screaming in the same room. Can't like filter out noise, and it's very hard to be seen and heard.
And would you say that the landscape of how music released when you first started releasing music with the band, like that was 5-6 years ago, to the way music is released now, has it changed drastically?
Possibly not. I think what has changed more is my perception of it. We dropped with the other band, we dropped an album in 2019, and I still kind of under the impression that things were as they always had been. And I don't know how long Spotify has existed. What was it, 2008 something it came?
Let's check.
But yeah,
2006.
2006.
So 20 years now. Yeah. But I think when it first came out, it was obviously, not as the big of the beast that it is now.
I mean, I remember I was like playing CDs until at least 2015.
And I was definitely using LimeWire in 2006. I'm sorry.
Oh, the good girl and the bad girl.
Yeah. I did have CDs, sure. And you know what? I do love a CD. And it's so funny because when you listen to the radio, right now in my car, I have a radio that doesn't have Bluetooth or aux cable or anything like that, right? So I can either play a CD or I can play the radio.
Yeah.
And if I play the radio and a song comes that I like, I'm like, wow, this is so special, right?
Yeah.
But if I had the chance to plug my phone in and listen to whatever I want, it loses that sort of special moment because, I don't know, it's weird, like,
I think there's some deep behavioral psychology behind this, because it's the same thing about how you consume music now when you have every song available to you at all times versus before when you had to make a very conscious choice about, should I spend this amount of money on this album? And you would go to the record shop, you'd heard maybe 1 or 2 singles and you were wondering, oh, I like those, should I buy the album? And you stand there and you listen to the album and you're like, yeah, okay, I will take the chance. Like, and you go home and it's an event on the album. You actually listen to it. Like you read in the pamphlet in the
love that.
When there was lyrics there and you would kind of develop a relationship with the CD that you bought. And this, I think, gave artists a deeper connection with their fans than today, when it's proven that the more choices we have, the less we know how to choose. So you end up playing things. You forget what to search for, because if you have a whole shelf filled with CDs, you can just go through it and like, oh, I forgot about this one. But I won't remember that. If I'm at the search bar in Spotify, what was I listening to in 2008, for example? Like, I can't even remember it. You need to see it to be reminded of it. I know it's a kind of old time thing to say, but I miss those days.
Yeah, no, I mean, there is the thing, like, from an artist perspective, I am happy that right now I am able to have my music submitted for everyone to listen, right? Because before you had YouTube, SoundCloud, a mixtape you can give someone on the street, And if you're not signed by a record label, then, you're not going to be heard. So on one hand, it has become easier, but I also feel like it's become too easy. And unfortunately, there's no filter what gets put on, right?
The market is saturated, kind of,
Yeah, and like I feel there should be a minimum threshold of quality, which doesn't always get met. And obviously, there's the whole matter of AI, which is another topic.
Yeah, let's not even get into it because it's going to be very heated.
Whole other podcast.
But
so I don't want to sound like I'm someone who advocates for gatekeeping access to being a musician, but I also almost feel like maybe there should be, because let's say, there is the Spotify algorithm, and one thing that is unfortunate for us is that it doesn't always pick us or favor us, right? But I also sometimes feel like this might be caused by the fact that there is a lot of music from lesser known artists that just doesn't meet a certain standard, and the algorithm doesn't know how to determine it. And I don't see humans listening through thousands or millions of uploads every month to determine what does and doesn't. So then it just groups all of that in one sort of pile, and your music doesn't get pushed out. Because imagine you're paying for Spotify Premium and you're listening to an algorithmic playlist or something autoplay, and a song that is not very good comes on. The mixing's off, the vocals are off. It's just not, I know there are certain levels with distributors where you have to meet a certain standard, but I still feel like it's quite lax. So
because I was going to say that I think this comes down to the distributor. It should be their job to kind of say like, hey, work on this some more before you.
But I feel like there isn't that really, because there's so many distributors now. So like I'm not trying to defend Spotify in any way for not pushing artists, but on the other hand, I can understand why some things wouldn't. So what I'm trying to say, I guess, is I think there should be tighter checks on distributors' parts on what gets submitted and like published. And if that would mean I don't get my music put out, then that's fine, because at least I get feedback. I need to work more.
Exactly. Then, it's valuable to use an artist as well, because it tells you that, okay, this would probably not do as well if it was released, and it's better that you know it before you go through all the hoops. But I think it's not black and white. There are obviously some very good things about the way things are today, that it's easier, that more people have access to the opportunity of being a musician. But there's also downsides to it. Some things were better, and some things need to be regulated.
For sure. Absolutely. But I also have a feeling like we are approaching the tip of the iceberg, or I don't know, the tip of the iceberg, the tipping point of like, everyone now wants to make music, whether you know how to sing or produce, whether you can make music or you can't. If you get an AI software, you can, make the AI make you something. So basically what I'm trying to say is anybody can submit and have their music uploaded, but it's not as easy as one might think to be able to gain an audience, right? So I feel like there will come a point where people that are not in it for the passion will get washed out. And then it will be left with those that are doing it because we just love making music and being musicians, right? So I think it's the point of having to ride out the wave of everyone and anyone thinking they're a musician.
Definitely. It's easy to think that, fame and money, but most artists do not have either. So,
and usually the ones that do the best are the ones that were never really in it for the fame and money. I don't know if you've ever seen the Amy Winehouse. And I am sure Amy wasn't in it because she wanted to become famous and have all of that. Maybe, I don't know the reality, how it was for sure. But I don't know if you ever watched interviews with SZA. She wasn't planning to become a musician. She wanted to be a gymnast. And by chance, she became, a Grammy-winning pop star. But yeah. Okay, so I have a closing question for you. Considering how we were reminiscing on the old times, what was the first record you bought yourself? Do you remember?
Oh, you know what? It might have been a cassette tape. Very revealing about my age. Uh, but I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
if it was Roxette's with
Oh,
what tourism, I think it was called, this record, like
mm-hmm.
how do you do,
Yeah.
or if it was ABBA Gold. It was one of those two.
I love her. Are they both Swedish?
Yeah.
I love that. I loved Roxette more than ABBA for sure. But yeah, okay. Mine was Destiny's Child Survivor Single. Thank you so much for being here with me today and sharing all your wisdom and knowledge. And I am really looking forward to the EP that is coming and the album that will eventually come. Thanks, guys. That was Eliva Umbra. You can listen to their music on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and all of the streaming platforms. You can also find them on Instagram at,
Eliva Umbra.
which is ELIVA UMBRA. They're also on Threads and TikTok.
With the
And
same.
yes, I'm going to link all of their socials in the description below and make sure to check out their music.